elements, you give yourself a tremendous step forward. So like I was joking, but not joking, about this new film, where if I'd given it more horror elements, then maybe, because there's a lot of symbolism in this new film, but once people are indoctrinated into the genre, and they are buying that, and they're getting those commercial beats, then they go with anything. It's quite amazing to me. You get to have a lot of freeway, a lot of latitude. I think symbolism works best when it's Chloe, which is my most popular film. There was an incredible essay written about Christian symbolism in Chloe. And this person was taking frame grabs and showing like halos above characters' heads and crucifixes, and I didn't plan any of that, you know. But when I look at the frame grab, it almost makes me like feel like possessed, because you see that there are several scenes where there are halos above Chloe's head. But there are just lighting instruments that happen to be there, and distortions that created those halos. So, but for this person, they were really clear, because they had a strong belief of what the film was. So I think as artists, we need to have structure, and we need to have symbols that will determine our own concept of the film. But the question of how important those are to viewers becomes actually very open. You know, we talk about Parajan's work, right? Which is full of symbols, but it's an internal system of symbols that he's created for himself. And it becomes really confusing for us sometimes, because when we look at his masterpiece, he's using symbols from different Caucasian cultures as well. You know, he's using Ukrainian symbols, he's using Azeri symbols at times, he's using Georgian symbols. We want to read everything as Armenian symbolology, but it's not necessarily. So it's very important to understand that it's a private world that the artist needs in order to create. And how it communicates to the viewer is not necessarily in their control.
Thank you so much. There was a question all the way in the back with the gentleman. Yeah, he has his hand raised now. Yeah, it's going to be hard to reach, but I also want the people in the back to be able to ask questions. Otherwise, we have front row bias.
I was wondering if you care to comment about the irony of Kevin Spacey, or last night show. Not so much about Kevin Spacey's praise, but the fact that, you know, he's had his past couple of years, you know, the issues, but the subject of your movie, which was, you know, imbalance, all sorts of that, imbalance in power, about sexual abuse, about not to mention rape and all that.
I've said actually to the festival organizers that this was either the most brilliant combination, or, you know, it was just by luck or chance. But I would like to think that it was a brilliant combination, because it really raises these issues, right, of the complexities of Me Too. You know, the complexity of what those decisions made by the perpetrators are, which are pretty blunt and obvious. It's an exercise of power, but also what the question of restorative justice is. So in the case of my film, when Clea is attacked, you know, her form of restorative justice is that she can go to the opera company and ask them to give her girlfriend, her partner, the role. And when the partner decides not to actually accept that, because it's an insult to her, it's not, then she cancels the singer. Now the question is, would she have canceled the singer otherwise? I don't answer that. But there are these, we are living in a time when, as an artist, I have to respond to the realities of what I see around me. And one of those realities is that I was sharing an evening with Kevin Spacey, who's also a great actor and obviously is worthy of being honored, but also has its history. So I thought it was actually, as an art installation, an incredible choice.
This is beautiful, Adam. Maybe you just see entire life and all its contradictions as an art installation. That's actually very inspiring.
Another
Another
movie. Yeah, right.
It's already in the making. Let's see if there's some other questions. Where's the mic? I'm overwhelmed by a choice, but I'll give you yes over there. Can you raise your hand again? Yes. Okay, it's there. Perfect. Thank you.
Hello. So I have a question about sound. How much are you as a director involved in doing some post-production, basically like sound design? And I would like to bring an example of from one of your films, from Ararat, because there is, in the very beginning, when we see the sequence in the airport, we hear horse footsteps. So how do you work with sound? How much you are involved?
I've been working with a sound designer since my second feature, the same person. His name is Stephen Monroe, and we work a ton on sound design. We use the same re-recording mixer for all the films. I'm sorry that the sound last night was not good, because this film has a lot of detailed sounds as well with the music. I'm happy that you can hear those sounds of the horse, because they are the premonition of what we're going to see later in the film. I don't know if it's clear, but when Aznavour, it's his mother who is surrounded by those horses. It's the mother who was raped, and it's the mother who is holding the pomegranate seeds. The woman that we're seeing in the film is her. So those sounds have been transmitted to him by the stories of the mother. So he's coming in and he's remembering those stories that he didn't hear, but were told by the mother to him. So again, that's amazing that you picked that up, but it's like the question about symbolism. There are things that the artist needs to know. In this film, for instance, with Seven Veils, the strongest thing that happens at the end of the film when she is going up the stairs and we're hearing Strauss's music is that over that music we hear Salome singing. She should be singing her final aria, but we removed the aria and we just have the music. So the aria now is in Amanda Seyfried's close-up. So she's owned the voice through her face. And it's interesting because I don't know if anyone will ever understand that's what we did. You'd have to really analyze the score. But it's very, very important for me as an artist to know that sonically, not only is it important, we had to spend a lot of money to record with the orchestra without the singer. We had to have a clean recording just of the orchestral sound. So you have to anticipate sound before you're shooting sometimes, because you need to create and collect the sounds while you're shooting that you will be using later on to color the track.
Can I add to this, because it's a great question, also your collaboration with Michael Dana, the composer that has worked on most of your films for such a long time, and I've been for the longest time also obsessed with his scores, and mostly the way that he uses synthetic instruments with non-Western influences, right, and a lot of Armenian instrumentation as well. It's like such a poignant part, and almost every score I think your films is its own character.
Yeah, and Michael is so incredibly determined to be authentic. So one of the things I am so grateful for when we did Ararat, we knew that most of those musicians we could find in Los Angeles, Armenians that were in Los Angeles. But Michael said, no, we have to go to Armenia. We have to record these sounds in Armenia, in those churches, with those choirs who are in that space. And I'm so grateful that we made this journey. So we all the Armenian music is from musicians here that we recorded in 2001 in very primitive conditions. It's not the same recording studios you have now. Also, like whenever he wants to have it, like in his other, in Exotica, he had the sound of an Indian knife in mind. He went to India and recorded it there. So he feels that the spirit of the place is also transmitted mysteriously in the recording.
It's like your films have an aura as well.
Yeah.